Welcome back to another episode 4 of the NY Boston Sports Podcast, Pod Save the Rivalry. We are coming on another rough couple of days for the fellas. We are going to break down game 4 of the finals, game 5, Eastern Conference Finals. Then go into game 6, which is tonight, preview the next games. And team up next is the Lions. Of course, we'll break down Yankees, Red Sox. They're chugging along as well. New York, Boston, it is hot in the streets. I think, though, we got to start with with all due respect to the NBA Finals, one of the more devastating hockey losses I've ever seen. Coming out of game 5. Ra, when we started this pod, your Rags were, I believe, up in the series. Now they're down.
You're up 1-0, yes.
They were up 1-0. Now they're down 3-2. What's the how we feeling, man? What's the vibes?
I think the vibes aren't good.
All right. Yeah, that was my mom. She was. Yeah. I think that I don't anticipate us winning, but I will say that if we win game 6, we'll win the series. But all day I've been looking at the Mark Messier thing, in which he guaranteed we'd win game 6 after being down 3-2, and he scored a hat trick in the third period. So maybe those vibes will help me. But yeah, I mean, it just feels like a backbreaker, man. Like, I still don't know how Ryan Strome missed that. He's gonna be gone from the team. I think that pretty much sealed it. I hope he is, because I don't really want to see him. Like, if we lose, I just want to be like, man, he's done good and all, but no, that's just unforgivable for me.
You won't give us a little snippet of what your reaction was live to that whiff?
I tipped over my chair. Pretty much. I mean, that you just had to be it, because it's just like you knew we'd lose as soon as that happened.
Did you think that the game was going to go into overtime, or did you have a feeling that Tampa was gonna
I thought it was gonna go to OT, to be honest, but there. But yeah, Lindgren had that odd angle goal. We were up 1-0. Vibes were good, and then that happened. So yeah, it's very painful.
Yeah, I feel that.
Rob, what did we? The third period, it really seemed like the Rangers were getting more shots. They were really outplaying them the whole way, yet they gave up 2 goals. Is that just hockey? How does that happen?
That's pretty much, just right shot at the right moment, pretty much. And one of those goals was an empty netter, so, so that's just whatever.
All I'm saying, go back to that first episode of the pod, and you'll hear me say 2 things. You'll hear me say the Rangers are lucky ass. And 2, you'll hear me say that New York sports teams always blow it in the playoffs. So my hockey takes are on point. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, listen, man, it's not over yet.
It's not over yet. No quit.
Oh, quit.
It's over. I'm counting them out.
That's a mistake. You know who also made a mistake was Gerard Gallant, because he might, apparently there have been rumors around that he's going to scratch Kako, and I don't know why. Because one, you don't break up the kid line. I don't know. They have been maybe the best line in the entire playoffs, much less the Rangers. Because here's the thing. Here's an analysis, right? When the kids have played in the same line as the veterans, they tend to defer to them and play scared. But when they're by themselves, they just play hockey. They just they're like, all right, well, let's just go out and play. And that's what's worked. There's no pressure, really. They don't feel the pressure to, give the puck to veterans. They just play by themselves. And I'm scared that's gonna happen today. But maybe the line change is what we'll need. We haven't been getting any even strength bowls. We've only had like one the last 4 games. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. But no matter what, this team's always going to hold a special place for me because of just like how, just the ups and downs of it, and just like the people that I've like gotten hung out with, and just like everything to it. So it's been a great season regardless. But yeah, hope we win.
How long will it like? Because the Rangers definitely weren't expected to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
No.
So does that lessen the sting?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. But like still, it's just like, but you don't know when you're gonna get back, like at the same time. Like I don't like to be like, oh, we'll be back, even though I probably think the Rangers are definitely going to be in the playoffs for the next couple years, but like have a roster that's so perfectly fit like this, I don't know. Because like I said earlier, you had the vets who all knew what they were doing, but you also had the youngins who were just so naive that they didn't really care about like the pressure. They just went on and played. But yeah,
Right.
it's tough.
Tell the audience what was on your story after Game 5.
Okay, after Game 5, I put that the New York Rangers cost me. No, I said I'm in an abusive relationship with the New York Rangers that Johnny Depp can't even dream of. Because here with Johnny Depp, it's like at least he got like money out of it.
That's the thing. He got
$10
$15
million, and they were both shitty to each other. The
Yeah,
Rangers
if anything, you're losing money betting on them, man.
Punching me, and it's just like like whatever.
The Rangers
they keep sitting on my bed, and I continue to sleep in it. Like that really.
The Rangers are bulldozing your house and then like shitting in the box they leave you to live in.
Much.
Man, not even young Johnny Depp can
let's move on to the
imagine
finals, man.
So, just like you already said some stuff, but like Game 6 now, like we've recapped Game 5. Just like you're saying you're not confident. The Rangers have been down 3-2 each of the last.
They have. That's what makes me like hopeful still that they can win. And if any team were to do it, it would be this team. I truly believe there is like a different mindset in this team, and I'm feeling, folks. I'm feeling a Kreider game. I'm feeling a Kreider goal.
I did. I backed.
Chris Kreider is one of the clutchest players in NHL history. That's statistically proven. That's not me saying that. He is one of the biggest playoff performers in NHL history. He will come through. I'm feeling it.
I hammered it, Rod.
Okay, Rod, that's your confidence level 2 pods ago was at 6. Last pod, it was 5. How are you feeling?
Now it's at like 3.5 to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, your boys really are. But like, if they were to win Game 6, what would it be for a Game 7 at the Garden?
10.
Wow.
Oh.
It would really make it jump a whole.
It would make it drop from like to an 8 to like very high.
But yeah, with them winning 2 in the Garden, because they really kind of did need to get like mad lucky to beat you at MSG.
Yeah, and plus the momentum of that, like of a Game 6 winning for this team, and just the crowd on Game 7 would just really be like historic. So like, yeah.
Now, before we move off on go to the Celtics, this is a NY fan v Boston fan pod. So I got to talk about the fans, and not a great look for your boys. As a Lightning fan, if you haven't seen the video, was absolutely folded outside.
He got banned from MSG for life, as it should be. There's no place.
Still, man, these Ranger fans are out here wilding.
They are. That's true.
Personally, Raph. And you see the guy also.
Personally, it's just like I don't condone that at all. There's no place for that. It's just a game at the end of the day, right? There's no reason to punch a person. Like the thing for me is like you already spent that much money on tickets. So like why would you like cost yourself even more money doing it?
How much more money did that man cost himself? Like he really is about to be rolling. And he also said that like he was worried like while he was like getting like in the like locked up or whatever, he said that he's like, "Oh my god, I'm so worried this is gonna go viral and everyone's gonna hate me." And it's just like,
Yeah, that's what you do.
What would you like to say to Fox News, who are now saying that all fans should be banned from Rangers games?
That wasn't true. Fox
No,
News.
you
I
can
wouldn't
fact
be
check
surprised.
that one.
It's Fox News. Tucker Carlson. See, this is what the left has done to our cities. Under Rudy Giuliani, that wouldn't happen.
The far left just beating up Lightning.
I mean, all I'm
fans.
saying is Democrats are blue, the Rangers are blue, and they're hitting people.
Exactly, man. Because
Clean up our
I
streets.
guarantee you, the Lightning fan was just talking to him about like the tax rate in Florida. They didn't want to handle it, So like, how great, no COVID there, man. They was like, I can't handle the truth.
How true.
But no, that thing is a piece of shit. There's no place for that. I'm glad other fans helped them out. That was a good thing at least. But yeah, I mean, there's just no reason to ever do that. I don't claim him. We don't claim him here. Enjoy your band for life. I hope it was worth it, you asshole.
So we're gonna swing over. Speaking of fans that have caught a bad rep, the child-hating Boston Celtic fan base
Come on
that
now.
Kerr is a member of, swearing in front of kids, just doing all this thing. What do you have to say for yourself right now, Kerr?
Well, first of all, Clay is this soft ass pussy boy who can't handle the pressure of the finals, apparently.
Yeah, there are people have to realize that East Coast fans like New York, Boston, and Philly, they're just kind of different. It's just
And the
you
thing
gotta
is,
anticipate it.
you cannot tell me that there aren't Warriors fans who fucking swear at players or swear at other Celtics fans.
It's a little different there.
I think I sent you guys a clip of when they were playing the Cavs and someone calls LeBron a pussy bitch boy. And Clay is like, it's whatever. If he can't handle that, he should get out.
It's like what?
He just changed his attitude up real quick.
I'm surprised Steve Kerr had the reaction he did because he'd been in the league. He was on the Bulls.
I mean, it wasn't
what was so bad? We gave him fuck Draymond Green chance.
I'm gonna I don't know, I do think it's kind of soft, but also you have to remember that these guys are getting interviewed minutes after a big finals loss. So I think we've all kind of wanted to we've said some things that maybe right after a loss that we'd maybe came off as a little soft or defensive or whatever. And I think that's the case. I don't think they're really bothered by it. I just think it's it's just going right after your finals loss. You're just looking to take out some anger on somebody. I think that's what pretty much happened there with the Warriors. I will say that Boston fans are definitely. I don't know if you saw that tweet with this guy who said that multiple Warriors staffers didn't feel safe wearing their Warriors stuff in Boston before the game.
Guy.
One guy said he got flipped off 17 times in the span of 2 hours.
17.
That's what you should expect.
No, I'm gonna actually side. I mean, not. And then someone's I had the one that got me was the guy's I had to take off my Warriors stuff because I was getting cursed at. Why are you taking it off? You can't you're either about it or you're not. What if I get cursed at?
If you're walking into Boston during the NBA Finals wearing Warriors gear, you have to expect to catch at least 20 middle fingers, at least 30 fuck yous.
Yeah. And that would just rev it up more. I don't know. I guess if I'm walking into, I guess because they don't know how it is coming from San Francisco or whatever.
No, they're in shape. They really moved up the Silicon Valley people. They're not in Oracle anymore. That's why and it's just those Oracle fans are
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
why they move from Oracle? That's always just strange to me. Now it's just real Warriors fans just can't even go to the game. Now it's all just a bunch of corporate people in there. Now you're used to like
True.
actual
It probably
fans.
was. Honestly, I didn't really think of that. It was just a bunch of like Simi Valley tech bros.
Just
So, like,
Chili Valley Texas being like, "Hey, yo, Steph, can I get your autograph, man?"
yeah, dude. And,
All I need to say about Warriors fans is yesterday, my girlfriend who works at Buffalo Wild Wings had to stay 2.5 hours later than she was supposed to because a group of 8 Warriors fans was watching the game and getting insanely drunk, didn't tip her a cent on an $150 order, and like I said, made her stay 2.5 hours late.
hey, damn. You know what they're probably
And then
hitting?
heckled her after the game.
You know
Like,
what
I told
they
you
were
so. Celtics suck. Like, fuck off.
They were hitting the Warriors.
Warriors.
Warriors. Hey, but let's dive into that game 4 loss for the fellas. Steph with an all-time finals
All-time great performance.
We'll have to, talk about his all-time place, maybe after the finals, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I actually wrote that down in my notes too. I'm glad you had it.
But let's just dive into Kerr, your initial, game 4 reaction.
Well, I mean, this isn't as initial as I could get, I guess, because last night I could not film the pod. Like I said to you guys, I literally would have just been on camera, pacing in circles, fucking swearing my ass off. It was a disappointing, demoralizing game. I thought it was an extremely winnable game from the Celtics standpoint. They completely disappeared down the stretch, which, hasn't been something that we've seen from them so far this series. They've outplayed the Warriors in the fourth quarter and all the games leading up to this. But in that last 5 minutes, I think we got a bucket or two towards the end, but for most of it, we were 1 for 8. Like, just embarrassingly bad. They were getting better shots than us up and down the court. We once again hit that 15-16 turnover mark that this whole playoffs we have not been able to win if we hit that mark. Tatum was all right, but once again, pretty inefficient. He needs one of those massive games that we haven't seen in a little bit now, it feels like.
Yeah, I think that's coming, to be honest. It has to. I mean, maybe not.
We need it. Brown has been good, but we need him to be more consistent throughout all 4 quarters. He had a couple of crazy athletic finishes, I thought, that were, just off the charts, awesome, acrobatic, And I thought Smart played really good defense throughout the game, despite the fact that Curry obviously went the fuck off. On that note, Curry was absolutely prolific last night. Like, cannot say enough about him. Every time down the floor, I was worried he was just going to pull up and drill one. The Celtics got outmatched and out-physicaled the whole game. I don't think that's a word, but we'll go with it. Destroyed us on the boards. I don't know what happened on that front. Because you look at the size, you look at the athleticism, that's in the Celtics' favor. 100%. But you give up 16 boards to Andrew Wiggins?
Yeah, he had 16. His career high. You know what his career high in boards was before this game?
What?
It was 11.
Yeah, and we gave him 16.
Yeah.
It was interesting down the stretch too to see Draymond obviously on the bench, which I mean, I cannot blame Steve Kerr for that, the way he's looked these last 2 games. But
What's going on with that with some of these veterans?
But I wonder if we see that continue going forward, or if we see Draymond back in the closing lineup. I don't know what you guys think about that.
I think Steve Kerr
will be there for game 5, or is this 5 coming up?
Yep.
Yeah, he'll be there for game 5 at home. I think he's needed to be bench once to send the message. Draymond is going to be the type of player that just doesn't get a message.
He's going to be in full menace mode game 5, guaranteed.
Yeah. I mean, he did have not a bounce back game offensive. he did have 6 assists. He ended up with, I think, 8 rebounds too.
I think he
Draymond
still only had 2 points and
He only
4
had 2
fouls.
points. No,
yeah. He still has. Does he still have
He
more
played
points
bad.
than
He
fouls?
played
So
bad.
that's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he I mean on his the Dre pod, he basically said he didn't have a problem with Steve taking him out, but it wasn't discussed. And Steve Kerr is going to go with whatever gives the Warriors the best chance to win.
Mhm.
I mean, he knows too, like that somebody who had to play with and sometimes with Michael Jordan, he knows how important role players are, and he knows also that sometimes the big guy doesn't have it. And Draymond, if he has to sit Draymond, if Draymond comes out and plays like he has the last 2 games, then Draymond's not going to be in the closing lineup. I mean, he made that clear. I mean, if he already did it in Game 4, like I don't think it's necessarily. I mean, maybe like if you get to an elimination game, maybe he'd catch more flack. But like I don't think. And Draymond said, like, hey, listen, like if I'm not playing the best, like he's got to do whatever it takes to win. And as long as we win, Draymond doesn't care. I genuinely believe that he that's what his attitude is. They wouldn't have made this many finals if he was a more selfish player. So I mean I thought Jeff Van Gundy was saying that he's right. It did take a lot of it was a bold coaching decision to take out Draymond Green like that, but it did end up working in the C's favor. Jaylen Brown definitely needs to go off more in every quarter, especially last night when I tailed Kurt's advice on first quarter points and it cost me a parlay.
You should have taken the Rob Williams ones that I gave you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I should have done that. But did he end up with?
Are we pod riding the Kreider goal?
I'm on it. I don't know what I doubt Kurt's gonna bet it, but
no, I mean I don't have a normal book account. So
you know, but
yeah. So we can, I guess, turn to Steph.
I wanted to go into before that. The potential results for this series. Where you guys are thinking now that it's a best of 3, and for each team, if they win, your Finals MVP pick.
Finals MVP, if the Warriors win, it's going to be Steph. I think he gets it this year. There's no other choice.
Yeah.
Really, at this point.
No, I think for the Warriors, it's no doubt Steph too.
For the Celtics, Robert Williams.
That was going to be my hot take. I'm so glad you said that, Ra. Because I think he's been underappreciated, and his value when he's been on the court has been off the charts.
Yep.
Like even last night in the loss, I think he was a +6. He obviously delivered on the boards, delivered on the defensive end. And, he doesn't get a lot of shots up, but it's mostly just lobs and layups at the rim or off of offensive rebounds, but he always puts them in reliably. And also during the playoffs, he shot 90% from the free throw line. So, I mean, I think there's a legitimate case. You could still say a guy like Jaylen Brown, or if Tatum has a couple good games, you could still give it to him. Mm-hmm. But I think Robert Williams actually has an argument for Finals MVP if the Celtics pull it off.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, we talked about what an impact. I mean, those 5 blocks he had were huge in the C's Game 3 win. And he just really makes the Warriors adjust. He's a really important chess piece in that coaching match between the Celtics coach and Steve Kerr.
Yep.
So I mean, because no one's really. I mean, the Tatum hasn't had a Tatum game. He's been kind of inefficient. Jaylen Brown, he did have 17 points in the first quarter of Game 3. So I'll say just to give a different take, I'll say Jaylen Brown. Just because he's played at the level that he's pretty much played at throughout the regular season, especially those hot starts that the Celtics have gone off to, scoring 10 points, taking over. He has had stretches where he's really taken over the game, which Tatum hasn't really done. So I'll say Jaylen Brown, but I like Robert Williams. In fact, I might sprinkle a little bit on that, to be honest, because the odds must be pretty good.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad pick.
To be honest.
And then the other thing was, what do you guys think? Like your overall prediction?
Warriors in 7.
I'm gonna also say Warriors at 7. I think that their experience ends up thing. I think the Warriors win Game 5, the Celtics win Game 6, the Warriors win Game 7.
Okay. I'm gonna go away from that. I'm gonna say Celtics in 6. Actually, I'm gonna say they come out firing next game. And I feel like Game 5 is must win. I feel like if they drop Game 5, they're not going to win the series. Because, I mean, what I've seen from the Celtics this playoffs is basically they play one great game and then take a game off. And then play another great game and then take another game off. And so I'm kind of putting my chips in to say that they win 2 in a row. But I think they know they don't have the experience the Warriors do, but I think their experience can get undervalued sometimes because a lot of these guys have been to like 3-4 conference championships still. And I don't think that they're scared of the moment. So I think the Celtics know that they need to win this game on the road, and they come out and do that. And then the boost they get from the fans at TD Garden will be enough to get them over the hump. But also I will say, obviously, after that last game, my confidence is a bit lower on that. But, I'm still going balls out, putting my money on Boston.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics, too. I mean, I could definitely see this. I really to be honest, I don't have a strong inkling. And this series, I have been pretty good in terms of I am, in the prediction chat competition that we've done. This series I've actually been the best at. I believe I'm the only one that's in the all-time group that's gone 4-0. But I don't know what's gonna happen. I mean, because the Celtics too, they're younger, they're more physical.
You did the season Game 1. I don't think you did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did. I think you did.
You went Steve's Dubs.
Yeah, the Celtics. I mean, they're bigger, they're younger, which this might be the last hurrah for the Warriors. So you could say it either way. You could say like those Celtics are fresher.
Not with Steph.
It's kind of like
with Steph and Draymond play. Not with Steph. Not with Steph.
I don't know. The West.
I don't know. I think the Celtics have more talent on their roster up and down than the Warriors do.
Yeah, and they're deeper.
Steph is the best player in the series, and he's made that clear. But I think the Celtics up and down are the better team.
Yeah, they're deeper, for sure.
My question, though, I feel like the biggest matchup is honestly the coaching matchup right now. And I think Ime Udoka is a great coach. And he's going to get his credit after this year. It's hella impressive to make the finals. I mean, who knows if they win the finals, but in his first year as coach. But Steve Kerr outmatched him yesterday. You saw all of the adjustments they made. Like I said, pulling Draymond earlier in the fourth. Starting with Otto Porter out there instead of Kevon Looney, I thought was interesting as well.
That was really interesting. Not the direction I would have expected them to go. Because
no.
The storyline in Game 3 was that Robert Williams, that he was mossing people out there, but they go with a smaller lineup, and I mean, it ends up, even though they started out kind of slow, definitely. So I don't know, because the Celtics also got out to a pretty not huge lead, but they started the game on a run. They were up.
Yeah. They were up like 7 or 8 right at the start. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but going with Otto Porter was definitely an interesting move. I
mean, going into the game too, I was like, okay, like we just beat them up last game, and now they're deciding to go smaller. I like playing against Otto Porter more than I would Kevon Looney. And I don't think Porter even did that much, but I mean, it is just absolutely fascinating, like what's going on in Steve Kerr's mind, because the whole world sees it as, you're getting outmatched physically, and his answer to go smaller, shoot more, just basically go against the grain.
Yeah, fade in the public for Steve. The coaching matchup is definitely like the key in this series, and it's a best of 3 for the NBA Finals. I really like. I can really see it going either way. I wonder what 538 has it at now.
I'm gonna say it's still gonna be Celtics, but by how much now? I don't think they can possibly give them over 80 still. I'll say they have it at like 74.
63.
Oh, wow.
63.
That's a big drop.
Yeah.
Clearly, they expected the Celtics to win last night.
Yeah. I think, too, the public, too, was all over the Celtics. I really thought, to be honest, like, going into Game 4, that, like, there was just too much, like, talk around how the Celtics were. Like, I really thought that, like, people weren't giving the Warriors enough credit. People were low-key counting them out. Like, not too many people, but I don't know. I just felt like, everyone was, after the Celtics went up 2-1, people really were just counting the Warriors kind of out, and that's just not something you can do. And this is a really fun finals. This is the most fun finals in a while. Definitely.
I feel like Bucks Suns was pretty fun.
Actually, Bucks Suns was fun. That's true. Bucks Suns. The last 2 years we've seen we've seen the Warriors before, but it kind of feels like a new matchup because they've been out of it.
And it's obviously not Cavs Warriors anymore. And I mean, it's kind of, I think it's also too interesting. It's like the Celtics attempt to, end a dynasty and, kind of kickstart their young core,
Yeah, it's definitely
they were
like
able to get a ring here. It's like endless possibilities.
Also, this is just something that pops in my head, but these teams were built in very similar ways, which is through the draft. Steph was drafted to the Warriors. Clay was drafted to the Warriors. Draymond was drafted to the Warriors, and late too. They got Draymond really late.
Second round.
They got Poole late as
One
well.
of the best draft deals of all time.
They got Poole late, and I'm pretty sure the Celtics they got Marcus Smart.
They got Smart at like 6.
Oh, they got Smart as okay.
Yeah, he was
an early pick. He was a stud in college, low key. And then they got Tatum and Brown at 3, obviously. Thank you, Nets. Rob Williams was a little bit later. He was outside of the lottery, but he was supposed to be a lottery level talent, just with like off the court question marks.
Yeah, then. And like also the free agency like signings, just like chipping away, like you get Horford.
The Kemba Walker trade looks so good now.
Yeah, that's true.
What did you
trade? Wait, what did you trade Kemba for?
Horford.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Fuck Kemba, man.
I still have nothing but love for Kemba, but thank you for getting us Al Horford.
I mean, I don't know if Knicks fans have the same love for Kemba, to be honest. I mean, he
from New York. He's from NYC. They always have love for him.
That's true. Actually, that's true.
Kemba is just, obviously his time with the Celtics didn't go as planned, but he's like, I feel like he's a genuinely good guy.
Oh.
And he's fun to watch too, especially when he's healthy.
Yeah, I mean, Kemba did, to be honest, he balled out against him and Fournier just balled out against the Celtics for years,
Fournier would not stop dropping like 30 pieces on us, bro. It was crazy.
Yeah, how hype was that? So incredibly. So I think we've. Do we want to talk about like? Do we want to wait till like Steph? After the finals? Yeah. So Steph, I mean, he's got to be. I mean, he's just one of them. I mean, if he wasn't before, like he is one of the greats. I think that he's really making the case that you got to put him top 10, regardless of if they win the series or not, all time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't know if I'd say top 10. I'd say he definitely has more of a case now, and probably closer to top 15 for me, though. And I think it would be interesting to list the point guards who I'd have over him, too.
There's really
but
only one.
thing
There's
at a
one.
That's Magic. There's really
I'm
only
taking
one.
Magic. That's it.
Is that
Yeah,
it?
same.
I mean, you taking Stockton, Isaiah?
No, I'm not taking stock.
Probably not. Probably not. I mean, Oscar may be up there somewhere.
Oscar, I mean, it's hard to compare with the eras.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to
Oscar-
compare eras,
both-
but I think you have
they
to have Steph
Yeah.
in that tier,
I mean,
just
I
behind
take him over
Magic
Kidd.
anyway.
I'd take him over Kidd.
Yeah, take him over Nash. I'd take him over Seep, obviously.
Yeah. That's so. It should be. And I think too. I mean, if he gets that Finals MVP, that's a huge. Because that's what the thing that's been missing for him on his resume for a really long time. That's the thing that Steph haters have really gravitated towards. You know, the fact that he hasn't. You know, actually no, he has.
I
'Cause
don't think it always started mattering when Steph didn't have one. That, interesting to me.
I mean, he's just clearly he's on another level right now. This is against the Celtics defense too. This is a series that I thought was
Yeah,
gonna
he
be.
is. I thought it would be a lot tougher for him. I thought we'd at least have a bad shooting game or two, but so far he's been lights out the whole way through. So,
Oh, is he 7 for 14?
I don't even
From
remember.
three? I think he was 7 for 14 from three. I think he hit 50% from three.
Yeah.
Just putting the team on his back. And obviously, there's not much, like, we can't say really anything about Steph that hasn't already been said, to be honest. He's Steph. That's pretty much all. Like, we're not going to offer any, like, groundbreaking analysis on how good he is.
Okay, but if you guys have him top 10, I want to hear your top 10 list.
That's okay. That's fair. Well, the top five. It's for me. It's LeBron, then MJ, Kareem, Magic, Larry. Let's see. I like that top five is really set in stone. Who would I take over Steph? Let's just like list that. Like Shaq's in there. I'm not gonna go in order right now. Like, Kobe.
Hakeem.
Ugh.
I take Hakeem over.
Hakeem, yeah, I'd take Hakeem, but dude, I don't even know. Like,
Did you take Timmy over him?
Yeah.
maybe.
Ooh.
Like, it's borderline. I mean, like, it's borderline for me. It definitely is. I mean, it's even in a conversation with Kobe too.
I would take Steph.
I'd take
over
Steph
Kobe.
over Kobe, honestly.
Yeah, at this point,
I
yeah.
think.
Yeah, I would too.
And I mean, Tim Duncan, honestly, here's what, like, Tim Duncan is an amazing player. I think that what annoys me
just
about
look at
Tim
his
Duncan
basketball
and the
record
Spurs,
page, though. Like, you have to come to the top 10 based on that.
here's what annoys me about Tim Duncan and the Spurs. The fact that everyone thinks they're like big brain basketball genius for saying Tim Duncan was good. Oh, he wasn't flashy, so no one really thought he was good. I'm so smart. Everyone knew Tim Duncan was good, and everybody talked about the Spurs. This is a side rant, but this is one of the things that annoyed me the most when the Spurs were, dominating, like, back, 10 years, like, whatever. ESPN would every single day talk about how nobody was talking
No one's
about
talking
the
about the
Spurs.
Spurs, yeah.
They'd be like, why are we talking about the Spurs? Every single time you turn on SportsCenter, they were telling you how nobody talked about the Spurs. And all they talked about was the Spurs. It was just how nobody talked about them. People knew the Spurs were good. They were not slept on. They were never slept on. Not once, ever, one time. Tim Duncan, people, he wasn't like flashy, but people confused that with him not getting his flowers. Tim Duncan got his flowers. People called him the greatest power forward of all time, like halfway through his career. Like, I don't know, that's just like annoying to me. I think that people like think that they're like huge IQ basketball savant for taking Tim Duncan over like Kobe, which like it's a debate. I don't think honestly like because we didn't live through like the Lakers Spurs battles, so it's hard for us to really rank one of the over the other. But I'm taking Akeem over both. But I think top 10, honestly, I think that's a time for another pod. I think we should switch it over to baseball.
Yeah. How about Jose Trevino?
Trevino walked it off on his son's birthday and his father's birthday, which is a cool thing. But the Yankees get 2 out of 3 from the Twins. Another wild Twins series. Like I don't know what, like when the Yankees play the Twins, all hell breaks loose. To be honest, it's really weird. I mean, the Yankees end up winning. That's like the one thing you can count on in the game is the Yankees winning. Like the Yankees are going to win the series. It's going to be weird, but when they play the Twins, like the Twins fans are like more scared of the Yankees than any fan base I've like ever seen be afraid of the team.
I will give you credit. The Twins are completely owned by the Yankees.
Yeah, and like the fan, it's like a mind, like it's literally like lives in their like constantly in Twins fans' mind too. It's not even just the team. It's like, dude, there's that thing. But I want to discuss a couple things from that series. The big takeaway from that is the starting pitching that's been not carrying us, obviously, because one unit can't carry you to a 42-16 record. But the starting pitching has been the strength of the team. They were average versus the Twins, and Cole got lit up. And they still find a way to win the series, And this is the thing with this Yankees team. They just find if they're okay. Garrett Cole gets lit up. He gives up 5 home runs including he starts the game with back-to-back home runs. Right? Okay, the offense is going to pick him up, and the bullpen's going to blanket. Then the game versus the Cubs last night. It's 2-1 in 13 innings. We win it that way because we pinch hit. Oh, no one else on the starting lineup's getting done. Oh, we'll pinch hit Jose Trevino. He'll walk it off, right? And it's literally like that. I mean, Ness and I think the starting pitchers in the series each of them gave up their season high in runs. Nestor gave up 4. Tyone gave up 4. Cole gave up 8. 4 and 4. That just shows how dominant they've been. Because for like most teams, that's a average start, like but when Cole got lit up, the bullpen comes and just blanks him out. Having a nice bullpen, like there is just whatever unit needs to step up this year for the Yankees has stepped up. They just have there's just that team. It reminds me of the 2018 Red Sox, only 100 times better. So. Mainly,
I cannot believe you just said that.
Listen,
the
man.
World Series winning 100-win team. Come on.
I'm like whatever, man. Like
you're gonna get humbled real quick. Is all I'm saying.
I just don't like what happened. Like when like we kind of do we
when
got
the playoffs come around at least.
We got humbled by the Twins, bro, and then we came out and still like.
Did you get humbled by them though? Like you lost.
Any other team would have. Any other team loses that game. Any other team, when Cole gives up, last year's Yankee team loses that game. They're down 7-3 in the 3rd inning. They lose that game. That's what I'm saying. Like this.
Yeah, we outside. We outside.
We outside.
Hey yo, we inside. We inside.
But I want to talk about Giancarlo. I will say, like, I did say I'm kind of walking back on what I said about not wanting to make moves. I don't want to see, like, Giancarlo in the outfield. He looked very bad versus the Twins. Raph.
Yeah, he did, but, like, we have Aaron Judge in the outfield, so it doesn't matter.
Judge just casually
he played center field. He just casually played center field.
He's like, oh, I'm just going to play center now. No big deal.
There's not much right field to cover, so why not cover some center?
That's what I'm saying, man. Like, now he's chilling with that big frame of his. That, you do not want to see that man running for a fly ball, even though he's admitted that Judge has admitted that I'm not really gonna run at full speed until the end of the season because I'm not trying to get hurt. So his sprint speed, if you look at it, he was 80th percentile.
Okay, as long as he
his
makes the catch,
rookie-ish year, now he's 50th. Same thing with Giancarlo, but I wouldn't mind trading for a glove in the outfield so we can just DH Stanton. It risks, there's less risk of him getting injured. There's less, and he just, because you can't have what he did in that second game versus the Twins. I mean, that was really the one thing. I mean, he cost us 3 runs, at least. Bad outfield play. You make one mistake,
really
a ball goes over your head one time, you're done. I mean, that's so. I really wouldn't feel confident having Stanton playing the outfield in a playoff series. Rod, do you have anything to add on to the Yank show?
Not really. I think we sort of they're just sort of the best team in baseball. They just keep on winning.
Outro. Big walk-off dub. Now we go to the Red Sox, who, despite their winning streak, still are 11 games back of us. How is it going all the way down there, Kerr?
Well, I don't have a ton to say about the Sox today, but I mean, we're still obviously feeling good. We took a break from winning when we played against Shohei.
Took a big break from winning at the beginning of the season. Took the biggest break you could ever take.
Ayo, listen. All I do is win. All we do is win. What's the most important thing in life, Rob?
That's true.
Winning. Okay, so after that rude interruption from Ra Fisher, I was saying we took an L to the Angels. And, shit happens. We were resting Bogarts. We were resting Story, which I don't really get why we rested them both at once.
Yeah, well, how'd you rest them both?
I don't know. I guess we just thought of it as a throwaway game against Shohei or something. But he hit a home run. He pitched lights out. It happens. We bounced back the next day, beat the Mariners. JD Martinez finally hit a home run. How about that? Like I've said on earlier pods, he's been red hot this year, but the home runs haven't been coming. And that's not obviously a normal thing for JD. You expect to see a lot of power behind it. And I heard on the broadcast yesterday that it was actually his longest streak without a home run in the 9 years since he has changed his swing.
Interesting. Oh, I really, right. We really forgot. Of course, shout out to the Red Sox because the Angels needed to end that 14-game losing streak, and of course they managed to do it against the Red Sox.
Yes,
still won the series, man. We'll take it.
Yeah, not you did win the series. But the Halos finally get a.
Finally, they got one. I mean, maybe they'll win again.
Carried by Shohei, like always.
Maybe they'll win again. Who knows?
Maybe they'll win again.
Maybe they'll win a game this month. Who knows?
I feel like they should make a splash. Maybe sign a guy like Chris Davis.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, but we'll really. I don't think anything will work for the Angels, man. They need to just kind of. I don't know.
Well, I feel like the 0-13 team just needs a guy who can hit 0 for 50.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know, why resting both Story and Bogarts, throwaway games. If anyone's gonna take throwaway games, it's the Yankees. Not you guys are actually competing for a wild card spot. You're in the mix there with those other average teams. So I don't understand why you can really have throwaway. I mean, that's something the Yankees used to do too. They would just kind of punt series against the Orioles.
No, I'm not saying I agree with it or anything, and I wish they had played at least one of them, instead of Ara Ooze in there and whoever the hell else. But That's just my explanation for it, because I don't feel like I have any other explanation for why they would sit them both at once.
Yeah. All-Star voting is coming up. Because of all the, there are just so many obnoxious Red Sox fans. A few will probably sneak their way in, like Bogart.
We're gonna get Bogarts. We're gonna get Devers. We're gonna get
JD.
I don't think Story will make it, but JD.
No, Story's not
JD
good.
will.
I
voted.
We could get a pitcher in there too. We have Waka's below a 2 ERA right now. He could maybe sneak in, or a Whitlock. Like one of them might get in.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I think that's about it. Yankees probably won't get any.
Please stop it. I mean, even if we weren't to get anybody, I'm not really, concerned about it, because we're going to have the MVP, and we're probably going to have the All-Star game starter too, in Nestor Cortez. So that'll be.
Not if he keeps getting lit up, man.
He was due, man. He was due. Listen, I know whatever.
He'll do.
Man, even if we do take a slump,
Yeah, I think he's gonna go through like a slump before the All-Star break. It kind of is always how it works.
Yeah, I mean, we'll still win the games. So
we'll still win the game. So we're the New York Yankees.
All right. So, I mean, not much changes really from day to day. It's not like we have a big baseball series to break down. So, really, not much has changed. The Yankees and Red Sox have kept chugging along. So, I think we can move off that and go to the last thing, which is the line number 2 pick, Detroit Lions. Their win total. Diving into that real quick. The Lions win total is set at 6.5 wins. Just to quickly kind of recap their offseason, they made a big priority of early free agency, re-signing a lot of guys, that have bought into the culture that they're trying to establish. So they I think 11, 12 of their first 13 signings were in-house. And then big free agency signing they made was, especially on defense, they really kept that, secondary and defense intact. But their big signing was DJ Chark. And then they had a very eventful draft, which we will certainly discuss more in depth, where they picked Aiden Hutchinson, a player that many thought was going to go number 1 overall just days before the draft at 2. And then trading up for Jamison Williams at 12. Their win total is at 6.5. I guess I'll swing it over to you, Kurt. What are your thoughts on the Lions?
Well, first of all, I'm going to take the over. I think the Lions have made enough improvements from last year to be a pretty different team. And I think the win total's at a pretty good number, but I'm leaning towards over right now. Jared Goff is going to be Jared Goff. He's going to be an average level quarterback who can get you wins. Like won't really elevate you, but won't make you worse either.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. And
I just feel like the weapons around him this year are going to be a lot better. Chark was a big addition. Amon-Ra St. Brown could take a step forward.
I think he's going to take a big step forward. I'm really high on him this year. I think he's going to be like a top 15 to 20 option. I think he's going to be like a well-rounded wide receiver one.
Yeah.
Because I take a look and I said it in here. Shout out to Mina Kimes for this. Shout out to Mina Kimes in general. But,
yeah, Mina Kimes is a go. She's a go.
She's a go. But I put it in here and it was like, Amon-Ra St. Brown was the only NFL player to finish last year with more than 70 catches and a 0.0% draft. So he's going to get even more receptions this year. And I think he's going to be the clear number 1. I think he might be a fantasy sleeper, I think. But with that being said, I don't really get this sudden hype around the Lions. I think it's going to be right around 6 wins. Because of they've they covered and they've improved, but I don't really see you still have to have some talent to win. They don't really have that much talent.
I think
Like-
they have more talent than it outwardly looks like. Like, I wasn't completely finished with what I was saying, but their secondary honestly has a lot of talent in it that was just hurt last year. I still think Okuda could be an impact player. And then obviously going back to the draft, Jamison Williams might be out for the start of the year, but that'll be another big boost, like a guy that a lot of people thought of as the number one receiver in the draft. And Aiden Hutchinson too, I think just really fits the mindset of the team, fits the whole, personality behind it. The Dane Campbell, I'll bite your kneecaps off type defense. And I think he went and got a bunch of guys that really fit his idea of what they need.
Yeah. Well, before I make my official prediction, I really, this is like a really tough one for me, because I can really see both sides. So I'm gonna give, like the argument for both the over and the under in my thought process. I guess I'll go with the over at first, which a big thing that we haven't discussed yet with this is their schedule this year. Very, very manageable. And they lucked out in the teams that they play from other divisions that finished in the same place as them, right? Because they play Carolina and they play Seattle as their like extra games. Both of those teams got worse. They play Chicago twice, and I'm gonna pull up their schedule because they have kind of a tough start to the schedule. But if you can like snag a couple wins from the start of the year, you're looking really good. Let me pull them up right now. Their schedule. I was looking at this. And they have buy-in too. Like, okay, they start out with the Eagles. They play the NFC East though, which is like very manageable. They got the Eagles, Washington, Vikings, Seattle, right? So those right off the bat, those could be two. You could split those games, right?
Absolutely.
And you go with then they hit kind of a tougher stretch here. They have the Pats on the road, the Cowboys on the road, Dolphins at home, Packers at home, right?
They could maybe get a win out of that.
Yeah. Then you're going with then you go to Chicago and the Giants, right? Which
That
are
could
two
definitely
wins,
be-
people are just like,
which
two
they'll
wins
probably
right
win
there.
one of those games. They will probably win one of either beat the Lions, or the Giants, or the Bears. Okay, then they have the Bills, right? So that's the first half. So if you get out of that with 4 wins, then it's Jaguars, Vikings, Jets, Panthers, Bears.
Yeah, that's very manageable.
So if things click for them, they could be a playoff team. I mean, like they have buy-in from Dan Campbell, which again that also I'm gonna go when I break down the more negative side. That's gonna be it. But listen, they get Aiden Hutchinson, they get DJ Chark, right? They add receiving talent. Amon-Ra St. Brown takes a step forward. Their Penei Sewell gets better, right? Penei Sewell is showing that he was the right pick there. Penei Sewell is going to be one of the best left tackles in the league. In addition, I believe they also have Taylor Decker, who is a very good tackle. Their offensive line is going to take that step forward, and they're building from the trenches. Like you said, their secondary was banged up. If they could stay healthy, so they have a case for the over. But
I don't think anyone even mentioned DeAndre Swift or TJ Hawkinson when we were.
And yeah, that's a good point, because bringing in more offense now frees stuff up for Hawkinson.
And for Swift.
I'm not sure that necessarily looking back, was he the right? I mean, no, he was a Pro Bowler, so you can't knock the pick too much, even though it was a tight end at 10. But regardless, like teams last year, because Hawkinson got off to a really hot start, then he faltered down because teams really just made it a real focal point to stop him. They're not going to really be able to do that this year, especially once they get Jameson Williams, who, like, his speed is not something like that's game breaking speed. That's like Jameson Williams is like you can't teach, you can't. It's just he has a different type of speed on the film. He just even other people that are fast, he just has a different gear. It's like that Tyreek almost. And he's 195. So he's a freak. I think that like if everyone in this draft class of receivers hits their ceiling, he's gonna be the best one. I don't like I'm not even really I don't think I'm going out on a limb and saying that. DJ Chark they got for way cheaper too. They kind of finessed the team we talked about, honestly. The last episode, the Jaguars, they got DJ Chark for very cheap. Then they went out and signed Christian Kirk, who you could even argue that DJ Chark's a better player. I mean, it's up in the air. Kirk is good. They're very comparable. I have faith in the Lions management for the first time in a while. So all of that, and they also,
ever. Like when did you have faith in the Lions management in our life?
Yeah, honestly, first time ever.
So that they really seem to be, headed. I like their new GM. Obviously, I like Campbell. But on the flip side, they do still have, like Goff. And additionally, like you look and they did win, 3 games late in the season last year. One of those was on a miracle Hail Mary, right? So people say, oh, we beat the Vikings last year. We'll be able to split with them. Like you needed a miracle to beat them. That like the wins they got, even though you can say that balances out with some of the miracle losses they had. Like I remember they lost on like a 60 million yard field goal. It kind of reminds me though. The thing with Dan Campbell is that whole like coach buy-in, new culture rebuild can go sour very fast. Kind of reminds me of the Giants going into last year, right? Where everyone was like, oh, but they have buy-in with Joe Judge, right? They played tough last year. They played above their talent level last year, right? That thing, if they lose a couple games, if they get blown out by the Eagles, which they could to start the season, all of a sudden, like that whole buy-in goes sour real quick and it starts to sound corny. You need wins to promote that. And in addition, like I think the Vikings got better. They still have to play the Packers. So, and they didn't sign too much new talent. It's not like they went out and they retained a lot of the guys on defense that and defense is hard to project. They didn't get much new talent on defense besides Hutch, which is huge, obviously. That being said, I think giving the cases for both sides, I think there was a lot more solid points for the over. I'm going to take the over here with Detroit. I think they're easily the third best team in the division. They might even give the Vikings a run for second best. And doing like when I went into this, a couple nights ago when we said we were going to do the Lions, I thought I was more with Rory, but then I really looked it over and like they killed the draft. Like going out and getting Jameson Williams shows me that they understand now where value is in the draft, what positions to target and speed, right? Like their management is now like a forward thinking, like we need to go get Jameson Williams, right? We don't care like really what we have to give up because as a receiver that is that much of a game breaker, that's value, right? And again, I'm not knocking the Hawkinson pick. I'm not knocking the Swift pick, but those aren't positions of value. And I feel like with a rebuild, you have to build. Like they get tackles, which is a huge valuable position. They're building through tackles. Now they're building up the receiving core, right? They are building where the positions you need to be good. They've also filled in. They have a great running back. They have a great tight end. I'm going with the over there. I know I went on for a very long time there. I apologize, boys, but I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
No, I think you covered it all pretty well.
So if that is, so we're so far, I've got 2 overs though in the like whole over under recap we're doing. I may go back on the Jags, but for now we've got 2 overs.
You should mark down our pick somewhere probably.
I had under on both.
Under on both, and then Kerr was under on
Under
Jags.
over
on Lions. Yeah. We should definitely like throughout the course of the NFL season too, like have like a like just to see, because that would definitely make a
For
lot of
bragging rights.
yeah for bragging rights, exactly. See who does better. But yeah, they're the third best team in the. Can we all at least say that the Lions are the third best team in the North?
Absolutely.
Yeah, the Bears kind of suck.
Yeah, and the like
The
they
Bears
really
have
gave
only
us
gotten worse. So
yeah. So but the Bears are a discussion for another episode. And speaking of episodes, I believe that this is a good place to wrap this one up. It's been another fantastic episode. Let's go Rangers tonight.
Hey.
We'll see. We'll probably record after Game 5 of the when's Game 5? Is that
Game
tomorrow?
5's Monday.
Monday? Okay, so yeah, we'll probably record on Monday. When actually I'll be in the Berg though, so we can have like we can be like together for an episode, which I think might help with the chemistry. But anyway, peace out from the 13850.
I just want to say thank all you guys for watching. Thank you for your support, and peace out from the 12901.
Yes, sir.
Sir.